9 o'clock, right on the 17th of April, 2025. I'm here with friends Alejandro and Diana.
Denise.
Denise, see, I was always messing those up. Denise and Alejandro and I converged on a local coffee shop several miles down the road from John Day. This is their first opportunity. Have you ever seen anything like this before, Alejandro?
Not this kind of setup, no.
Okay, but you have looked through a telescope before,
Yes, yes,
through an
yes.
eyepiece. Okay, what we're seeing here, of course, is Bode's galaxies. Messier 82 in the center and 81 off to the right. I selected 81, so it doesn't look like we got a good alignment for some reason. We may have to redo our three-star alignment. So we are looking at center of the screen as Messier 82. This is at 1 second exposure time, which gives you a view that is comparable to a 6-inch telescope, which this is, on a really good night of seeing. So we thought we'd start off with that. I'm a little disappointed, however, that Messier 81 did not center on the screen. So we'll have to explore that. Now, tonight it's very interesting because I'm only imaging the part of the screen that actually shows the galaxies or clusters or whatever we're looking at. So we're going to cross our fingers and hope the scope does actually center on the 15 galaxies that we're going to explore this evening in the Rounders or the Circumpolar NGC catalog. So let us begin. All right, it's now 9:44. We've done several three-star alignments, and we finally got Messier 81 to pretty much center in the field, and it's unaccounted for why the mount was giving us such difficulties. So here's our 250x view of Messier 81 at 5-second exposure time. I'm going to change it to 10, and then we're going to go off and do our Rounders series with our friends Alejandro and Denise. I keep thinking Diana for some reason. Denise. They're visiting from Mexico. All right, let's get that 10-second view in there. See, this is the galaxy I wanted to turn up. You should be able to see the spiral arms. Next. You see the exposure time down here? You can see it developing. Okay. What do you think of that? Now, you ain't going to see anything like that through the eyepiece. Right? We really need this imaging system to be able to see stuff like this. Because you remember how faint Messier 65 and 66 were. They're almost as bright as this galaxy is. You didn't see it.
No,
All
not that, not that.
right. Okay, now where's our list? Because we are off and running now.
No, I mean, I'll try it.
That is grand. All right. Okay. So let us begin. You have the, I think it was,
115.
we were going to do the one just before it, just as a test. Okay. So what is the number? 2446. So what I do is
No, for 114, it's 2441.
2441. Okay. Sure it wasn't two? It's one just before this. No, it's one before the line. 2446. All right, so we go to here. I'm going to show you how to do this so you can do it. We go and press, instead of Messier, we escape out. We press the NGC button, and then we press 2446. Enter. We move it over to the right just to make sure it is the right one, and it is. And then we say, push the button a couple of times. We say view object, and it slews. All right. So probably best, since the wand is on this side, that you stand over here. Not Diana. Denise. All right, there you go, Denise. And I have to control things like reinitializing the exposure. 2446. Okay, so you've already done it. We've centered up, and we're waiting for the exposure to be captured. And then we're going to read the data on it, right? Alejandro is
which I
going to
completely
read
forgot.
2446. You're just going to say this NGC 2446. You're going to look over here where it says what galaxy, what it's in links. You're going to say it's in LYN, and I'll say, oh, that's links. And then you're going to say 7 hours, 48 minutes, 39 seconds, and right ascension. And this one over here says something like plus 54 degrees, 36 minutes, 42 seconds in declination. Its visual magnitude is 12.9. And if you screw up, don't worry about it.
All right.
All right.
I like the will, so I'm happy to know.
All right. So, okay, here we go. All right. What are we looking at here, Alejandro?
We are looking at NGC 2456.
And we can't see it anywhere on the screen because we're lower magnification, but I suspect it'll be right about here. Can you tell me more about it?
Its position is 7 degrees,
Or
54 minutes,
7 hours,
7 hours, 54
54
minutes,
minutes,
10.6 seconds,
and
plus 55
degrees.
here,
Yeah.
29 minutes, 43 seconds.
Do you know anything about how bright it is?
It's 13.1.
13.1 magnitude. And what is its size? It's in minutes.
1.1 minute by 0.8.
Okay, so it should be slightly oblate. Okay, now what did our observing friend Steve Gottlieb have to say about what is this NGC? What is it again?
NGC 2456.
2456. What did he have to say about it? What size scope was he using? A 13.1 is what it says here.
Okay.
All right. And then, oh, no, he used a 17.5. That was the visual magnitude. 17.5 in 1991. He said what?
Faint, small, slightly elongated, broad, mild concentration.
Okay, so we're not seeing like a little starry point in the middle of this. It's kind of got a glow around it like a globe, and it's got a faint aura around the outside. There's a slight elongation along this axis, and that is our view of NGC
2456.
Okay, what's our next study? All right, we moved on to our next rounder study of the evening, the number second of the evening. And what is the designation on this?
NGC 2457.
2457. Can you tell me anything about it?
It's located at 07 degrees, 54 minutes, 45.7 seconds.
Well, I'm telling, this is the old, remember, we hardly heard it slew. That was probably the previous galaxy. This is the one. This one looks fainter. So what's the magnitude on this baby?
It's 14.7.
Like I said, there's even a fainter galaxy here. You see this diffuse one? Now, we don't know which one it is until we get more of the description. How big is it?
It's 0.6 minutes by 0.
Oh, that's pretty small. That's not this one. This is more like 1 arc minute. This is 0.5, 0.6. Good. And what is its average surface brightness, ASB?
12.2.
Well, that's kind of deceptive because it's so tiny it concentrates more of its light down into a smaller size, which makes it look brighter in the core, but it's not as present on the screen because its previous neighbor was brighter. And we're getting this faint galaxy over here and hints of another galaxy there. I would say we are pretty much confident, higher probability, that this is in fact NGC. You'd say at this time.
2457.
2457. And that's our view of another rounder in the series. Hold on. What's our next study here?
Our next study is NGC 2458.
And do you have any info on NGC 2458, Alejandro?
It's located at 07 degrees, 55 minutes, 51.4 seconds.
That's hours.
That's
07
hours.
is hours. Go ahead.
07 hours.
Go on to the next
Now
one.
it's plus 56 degrees, 42 minutes, 38 seconds.
And like the other galaxies, it's in links, isn't it?
That's correct.
All right, here's another galaxy, but typically they've been turning up in this part of the screen. There's a galaxy there. Give us some information so we can figure out which galaxy to look for. There's another galaxy right here, by the way. So how bright is it?
It's 14.5.
Okay, it's a pretty faint galaxy. So It could be this one, it could be this one, it could be this one. Continuing, how big is it?
It's got a size of 0.15 minutes by 0.15.
Oh, 0.15. That's tiny. You know what I'm seeing right about here? These are tiny little galaxies. Remember this faint little fuzzy dude over here? I think we may have seen it over in this part of the screen earlier. But we have any number of really tiny candidates. This one's pretty bright here. Do you see? It's not likely to be it. This one's pretty bright too, but it's not tiny. It's going to be one of these little guys here. Now remember, we're operating at pretty high. Oh, I'm really pushing the magnification now. We're operating at 250x, and there are any number of really faint galaxies in this field. I could not tell you which one it is, but maybe, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. Alejandro, do you guess which of these really faint fuzzies here is is the galaxy NGC2458? Any ideas?
I guess it's as good as anyone.
I'll bet you this is a galaxy group, and it's probably 100 to 200 million light years away. So that's going to be it for this evening on that. And what are we looking at here?
We are looking at NGC 2460.
Okay, 2460, and I'm going to zoom in as we gather data. There are several faint galaxies here. You look at this. Boy, I think tonight we're seeing more faint galaxies than I've seen in previous nights because the sky is so good. I'll bet you it's this really bright galaxy here. Could you describe it so we can confirm that it's the galaxy that's right in the middle of the field here? Alejandro?
A moderately bright, fairly small, bright core, diffuse halo, slightly elongated southwest by northeast.
Okay, what size scope was he using when he made this up?
This is a 13.1 inch.
Okay, so this is really intense. This is probably because we're operating at about an 18-inch scope level right now, maybe even 22 or 24, given how transparent the sky is. And I'm really just like, look, look, look. I am now operating at about 500x right now. 500x. Look how large that galaxy. It just loses aesthetic attractiveness. So I usually stick at about 250x, which is 100% zoom, activating all the pixels in the CCD imager, and that is giving a very nice view. So that was through a 13.1-inch telescope, and it's a magnitude what galaxy?
So magnitude 11.8.
And it's got an average surface brightness. It says surf bright of
13.3.
Okay, so that's a fairly intense galaxy. That's a good look on that one. Don't you agree? I mean, it's not M81 or M82, but it's not bad. All right, let's move on. All right, Denise. Oh, actually, Alejandro, what galaxy are we looking at?
We're on NGC 2461.
And Denise, what information do we have on it?
We know that it's in Lynx. And
but there's hardly any information other than location, right?
Yeah. Right.
Well, you know what? There is a galaxy right there. There was no information on this galaxy on the printout that I have. It's got a Corvin name next to it. That's another amateur astronomer, I believe. So what's our location? 7 hours, 56 minutes, 26.4 seconds, plus 56 degrees, 40 minutes and 24 seconds in Lynx. So this first number is, what is it called? Right ascension. And the second number is known as declination. And so there is a galaxy in this field next to this very bright star. I'd say this star is probably about the 5th or 6th magnitude. And there is, wow, there's something that looks edgy on it right there. Don't you agree? It looks like it's displaying its light out at an angle. So, you know, they very may well have discovered a galaxy. They just don't have the information, or they did not observe it on the night that they attempted, when Steve Gottlieb went out to observe it. All right, so that was NGC 2461. All right, what's our next galaxy, Alejandro?
We're on NGC 2462.
And Denise, what information do we have on this?
It is located in 10 hours, 12 minutes, and 24 seconds.
Wow, we're already up to 10 hours now? Wait, let me see. I thought we were at 7. Oh, we're at 7. 7 hours, 56 minutes, and 30. 2462, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
So this is 50. Okay, read it again. We're in length still.
We're in links. Okay, the location is 7 hours, 56 minutes, and 32.1 seconds.
And you know what? The scope did not shift at all. But you know what? What's the magnitude of this galaxy?
The magnitude is 56.
No. Magnitude. It's not on there, is it?
So
It's another unrecognized galaxy in the list. And we do have two galaxies right here. This was that really small one we saw earlier. We still have our bright star, and here is a brighter galaxy right here. Apparently were not able to observe it. There's also a galaxy over here. There's several galaxies in this field, and it's blowing me away because we're seeing so much deeper tonight than we've been seeing in the past with the high thin clouds going overhead. We have a very transparent night tonight. So there are several galaxies that are candidates for both NGC 2461 and 2462 right on the screen in front of us. Let's make sure I'm up to 100. Look at that, our 250x views. This one looks like it has a ring around it, doesn't it?
it does.
It's called an annular or galaxy face on. This one is a little more splayed at a bit of an angle than that one. So that was a good discovery tonight that we made out. Okay. All right, we discovered the data for NGC 2462 on the next page. So we're going to have Denise go ahead and read that out as I zoom in once again. So this was the previous galaxy. And it was probably this brighter one down here. Can you read it? We got two galaxies in the field, one of which there was no data on, and this one is, it says a visual magnitude 14.5. Ooh, that's a little bright for 14.5. That might be more like a 14.5. It says the size is 0.5 by 0.3. This one's too large for 0.5 by 0.3. This one is probably the galaxy that we're referring to as NGC 2462. It was observed. The position angle is 155 degrees. That's just the orientation. This one was observed through a 24-inch telescope on January 25th, 2014. It's called 24-inch telescope now. What does it describe it as? Steve Gottlieb described it as fairly faint,
Small,
slightly elongated. What else? Direction is northwest, southeast. Very tiny, 20 by 15 arc seconds.
Super tiny.
With a weak concentration to the center. Oh my God. We are getting on this night the equivalent description, in my estimation, equal to a 24-inch telescope using a 6-inch scope and a ZWO imager. That blows me away. This is a really good night of seeing. You're very lucky we stumbled on each other today. Yeah, there we go. All right, folks, we're in the same region of space because that star is right here, but we are seeing an awful lot of transient satellite-looking craft that are moving across the field at the same time. Very popular part of the sky, apparently. You can see it progressing. Every 10 seconds of exposure, this thing leaps about this much, which is probably no more than 3 or 4 arc minutes of space, which is about a 20th of a degree. So very interesting. You can watch that progress across the sky, but I am going to zoom in because we're looking for this next galaxy. And what do we have? What's the description on NGC what?
2463.
2463. Boy, it sure isn't nice to have help tonight. All right, tell me what we're going to be seeing here, Denise.
Its location is at 7 hour, 57 minutes, 12.5 seconds.
Okay.
And the increase is degrees are plus 56.
So it's in the same region of space we've been in all along, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the description of the galaxy?
appear fairly faint.
It looks like it's pretty small too. What is it,
Yeah,
0.6 by
the size
0.6?
0.6 by 0.6, and the surface brightness is 12.1.
Which means it's probably going to be fainter than that because it's saying it's a smaller region
Yeah,
of space. So what's the magnitude? 14.1? Is that what it
the
says?
magnitude is 14.1.
14.1. Now this looks a little bright for 14.1. There may be something else. There's a nice faint galaxy there that looks even fainter and possibly smaller. So let's assume that may be it. But what's the description of the eyepiece that Steve Gottlieb gives? So something about, let's see. Okay, he was using a 24-inch telescope in 2014 at 375 of power. Appeared fairly faint. Go ahead and read the rest of it.
Fairly faint, small ground, small bright core, increases to a faint stellar nucleus.
Okay, I'm seeing something that may map to it right about here. These are two galaxies we already described, but here's another one that's kind of in the field. It's kind of hard to tell because the scope gave us a lot of trouble aligning tonight. And the mount is not particularly graceful about making sure it centers on everything in the sky. But based on that description, I'm thinking we got this baby right about here, but it looks a little elongated. What was the shape of it? It's in 0.6 by 0.6. It should have been rounder. This one's much rounder here, and it was magnitude 14.1. That could be a 14.1 magnitude galaxy, and this could be one. So we may have bollocksed up some of them earlier. This is a very complicated region of space and lengths. It's probably some kind of galaxy group. We'll just stay with that. We did have some nice views. Most of them were in the 14th magnitude range, which means within a couple of magnitudes of actually disappearing from the scope. So I think we're going to just have to make our best guess on which galaxy was which. There was one very bright one, and it was down below over here. We can surely say what that one was. Don't recall to begin with, but let's move on to our next study. All right, what's our next study, Denise?
Our next study is NGC 2464.
And that's what's on your handset. Good.
Yep.
So we've got confidence there.
Yeah, and it's located at 7 hours, 57 minutes, and 32 seconds. And the declination is at plus 56 degrees. 41 minutes and 24 seconds.
Okay, so we have several galaxy candidates. This one's way too bright. What was the magnitude on this one again? He didn't know.
No.
There's no data on this galaxy. They did not find it. But let's see if we can recount some of the galaxies on the screen. Here is probably what I would consider a 14.5 or a 15th magnitude. This is probably a 14.5, and this one was pretty bright. I think it was somewhere around a magnitude 11.5. So there's our view. But there are little faint noddies over here and here. There's a really faint, vague area. But remember, we have no data, so we can't compare the size and the concentration. Most galaxies have maybe a bright stellar core. They have a core region that looks like a ball, and then they have a faint aura around them. If it's a brighter galaxy, it'll have like spiral. You might see hints of a spiral arm or a ring around the galaxy. All right? So as you do more and more of this kind of thing, you get more and more attuned to what you expect to see on the screen. So we can't really confirm this, but we are trying to go through the rounders and we're giving some ideas of what might be seen. So we're going to move on to our next study, which is
2465.
And it also doesn't have any information. They did not find it either. What are we looking for now?
We're looking at NGC 2465.
And any information on it?
Yeah, it's located at 7 hours, 57 minutes, and 26.1 seconds.
And is there anything about its magnitude or orientation in space or?
Its magnitude is plus 56.
That's its declination.
Yeah, its declination. We only have its declination, which is plus.
They didn't find it. Corvin
Nope.
didn't find it, and Stephen Gottlieb didn't report it. Another mystery galaxy, but you know what? There is a very faint, vague presence here. This is that really bright one to begin with. We already went through several here that are like 14th and 15th magnitude galaxies. The star that was right here to begin with has jumped off the screen up in this direction. I would say this is our galaxy right there. Whatever it is, and I would say it's probably somewhere around 15.5 magnitude. So that would be my candidate for NGC. Alejandro?
2465.
Very good. All right, I backed out of the screen again to show you that really bright star. So we are really still, oh, hold on. I have to initialize image capture. But I backed out of the screen again. We're going to wonder about this really bright star's position. We seem to have found a galaxy group. Now, it's shifted over to the left, which means we progressed in right ascension. And apparently, as right ascension number goes up, you end up going more and more to the west? No, to the east. I'd have to remember that, so don't quote me. But anyway, so the star shifted over to the left, but I think it's flipped around on the screen, so the star went east, not west. All right, what are we looking for here? NGC what?
2468.
2468. We have any data on 2468?
Yeah, it's located at 7 hours, 58 minutes, and 2.4 seconds.
Okay, so I'm going to start zooming in and we're going to start looking for that galaxy. Remember, we started about 70x. That's at 26%. And we're going to skip up to 40, so we're probably around 90 to 100x. I'm starting to see a really bright little galaxy right there. You see that? See that little? Notice how the galaxies don't look like stars. See how intensity of faint stars are? Here are stars on the screen that are actually fainter than this galaxy, but there's something very fuzzy. We call them, amateur astronomers call them faint fuzzies. This is probably our galaxy, but we have to map it against the data we have on it. So I'm now at 250x, which uses all the pixels in the CCD display. What information do we have on it?
It has a size of 1.1 by 0.5.
Okay, so it's a 2-to-1 aspect ratio. That looks pretty much 2-to-1. What's the brightness? Magnitude?
The brightness is 13.1.
That's about right. It looks a little bright for 13.1, but we'll go ahead with that. There's other fuzzies around it. We'll continue. But remember, what was the aspect ratio? What was the size again? It was like 2-to-1, wasn't it?
1.1 by 0.5.
Yeah, that's about 2-to-1. And this could be maybe a little better than 2-to-1, maybe 3-to-1, but who knows? Pushing on with the information.
Okay, it has an angle.
Okay, position
A
angle.
position angle of 45 degrees.
Okay.
The magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
It's 13.9.
And you got the size 1.1 by 0.5. What is the description? What kind he used a 24-inch scope, I believe, here, and it was done in 2018. What magnification? It's got an X next to it.
It was a magnification of 375.
Okay, and what was the description on it?
Fairly faint, fairly small, elongated.
Yeah, it's elongated.
Southwest to northeast.
So one of these directions along this line here for sure. Go ahead.
It's a very small brighter core.
Mm-hmm.
It has a very small brighter core and occasional stellar nucleus.
Okay, occasional stellar nucleus. This one over here looks like it's got a bit more of a stellar nucleus, but I do believe this is actually NGC 3654, was it?
2468.
2468. See, I was wildly guessing. We're almost up with our half hour. I usually shoot for a half an hour. Let's see if we can push on quickly with the rest of our studies. So we're on to what?
We're on NGC 2469.
I'm going to initialize image capture. Could you give us some data on it while the CCD imager is gathering some photons?
Yes, of course. It's located at 7 hours, 58 minutes, and 3.4 seconds.
Okay. And declination?
And the declination is 56 degrees,
Uh-huh.
40 minutes, and 50 seconds.
And there's a really bright galaxy here. What's the magnitude on this galaxy? What is
The
it?
magnitude is 12.7.
Oh, yeah. That could easily be a 12.7 magnitude galaxy right there. Any description? And what size scope did he use?
They use a 2024.
2014, they used the 20. And the magnification?
375x.
Okay, what did they say when they looked in the eyepiece through a 24-inch telescope at 375x? What did they have to say about it?
Appear moderately bright to
Yeah.
fairly bright.
Yeah, it's fairly bright.
Fairly small.
Looking pretty large here, but go ahead, because it could be this one up here. This is elongated, though, down here.
Elongated for
4 to 3 aspect
4 to 3
ratio.
aspect.
This looks a little more like 2 to 1, but you never can't be sure. Go ahead.
North-northwest to south-southeast.
I do believe it goes left and right, north and south, but I'm not sure about that because the scope reorients and I just get bollock stuff on this sort of thing. So I just go with the description at this point. Anything else?
It says it's slightly brighter core, appears mottled.
Yeah, it does look a little mottled, doesn't it? Looks like it's broken up. It's not like a sphere or even an elongated egg shape. It looks a little mottled to me. Okay, go ahead. And that was through a 24, right? Anything else on it?
That it's located at 2.3 degrees.
Or minutes southwest of a magnitude 9.5. Oh, look at that. Magnitude 9.5 star. And there's the galaxy. See? All right. So that's about right. I'm going to go ahead and pause on this, move on, because we're after 30 minutes and I'm getting into my cautionary zone for time. Okay, we've ended up with another galaxy, which I believe may be this one. What is the NGC designation on this?
The NGC is 2471.
2471. This one's fairly bright, and apparently they did not see it through the eyepiece, so this is way too bright to be missed. This may be another galaxy, but it's kind of right in the screen where we expected to see things, although it's a little shifted above. So I'm going to just scan a little bit. There's another. Oh, this could be our candidate right there. You see this little faint thing here? They could have missed that one easily. There's a little dot next to it. Now, that could be what is called just an anachronism, but that could be a really faint tight star. I can't be sure on it. We'll have to look for it on another screen. There is a galaxy there, and this would be NGC 2471. There's no data on it, so we're going to move on. I'll have to do some research maybe when I post this up. Otherwise, I may not have time to do that tomorrow. It just may go out the way it is. All right, let's test them out now. What galaxy is this?
This is 2472.
And any description?
Yeah, it's located at 7 hours, 58 seconds, 45.9 seconds.
Okay, the other one was minutes, but go on with declination.
The declination is plus 56 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
42 minutes, and 4 seconds.
And what magnitude is it?
The magnitude is 14.4.
That's way too bright for 14. That's probably 12.5. There is a faint fuzzy right there. That would be a 14.4 right when the cursor is pointing. Go on. Anything else on it?
It has a size of 0.6 by 0.6.
Yeah, it's very small too. So that's about right. And is there any discussion on the part of the eyepiece view of it?
It has a surface brightness of 13.1.
Okay. It's small, so it seems brighter than it really is. Go ahead.
He used a telescope of 24 magnitude.
24 inches in aperture. Go ahead.
In 2014 at 375x.
Yeah, he likes that. 375. Go ahead.
Appear faint, small, round, 12 a diameter between 12 inches and 15.
12 and 13 arc seconds. Yep, that's about right. I'd say we got that one. We're going to move on because we're running out of time here. All right, so we've moved on now to NGC
2473.
And we're operating. I want to make sure it's at 100%. Everything's been pretty much turning up. There are several galaxies in this field. You can see a brighter one. I'd say this one's probably around magnitude 14. There's some fainter ones over here, maybe closer to magnitude 15. What do we got here for 2-4? And here's another galaxy. They're just all over the place in lengths. I mean, the cat swallowed a lot of them. But go on. So what do we got for position? NGC 2473 is
It's 7 hours, 55 minutes, and 34.8 seconds.
declination.
The declination is plus 56 degrees. 44 minutes and 10 seconds.
And it's in lengths. Its visual magnitude is 15.1, the faintest galaxy we turned up tonight. There are numerous candidates here. What size is it?
0.3 by 0.2.
0.3. There's so many galaxies in here. There's just no way to guess. I mean, this is probably the region it would be in. I see at least 5 or 6 faint galaxies, and the magnitude on this one was 15 point. What was it again?
15.1.
15.1. We should be able to image galaxies down to magnitude 16 plus. We'll go ahead with the very final galaxy of the evening and then have a look at Messier's once again, this time 82. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had so many galaxies tonight because the sky is so dark. It's so difficult to determine unless we just get some really good data. Look at the galaxies all over this screen. We're operating at 250x. This is the last of our rounders tonight. Sorry, this is going to run almost 40 minutes. But what do we know about this galaxy? It is NGC what?
2474.
And
it's located at 7 hours, 57 minutes, and 58.9 seconds. It's still in lengths. It has a magnitude of 14.
Okay, well, these are here. This one here is this one's a little brighter than 14. This could be it right here, 14. Most of the galaxies we've turned up have been in this region of the screen, so let's assume that. But there are multiple faint galaxies on this field. Tell us more about the galaxy so we can determine whether it's the fainter or the brighter one of these two.
Its size is 0.7 by 0.7.
So this is more likely to be 0.7. This one's likely to be more like a 1 arcsecond size. I'm going to play with the histogram a little bit just to see what we can do with it. Go ahead and tell us more information as I play with the histogram.
It has a surface brightness of 13.0.
Okay. That's probably the brighter one here then.
It should be faint, very small, round, very small, bright core. It forms a double galaxy with...
With what? NGC what? See, these are double galaxies.
2475.
And that'll probably be in the next study. Yep, it'll be the first study in our next series. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the NGC Rounders tonight. We're going to have a look at Edge-on Galaxy Messier 82 before we knock off and say, Carpe Noctem, seize. Okay, for the benefit.